Have you ever wondered what the power-ups in Follow Up Boss do? In this video, I'm going to walk through each power-up one by one and explain what they do and why you may or may not want to enable them. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and walk through them. In order to find power-ups, in the top right corner in Follow Up Boss, you'll click power-ups. These are optional features you can toggle on or off in your account. The first one is blur mode. I'll turn this one on just for recording this video. So blur mode is really nice if you're recording webinars or you're doing team trainings and you don't want to show confidential information. So blur mode blurs email addresses, lead sources, and phone numbers. So if I go to my people screen, you'll see here that the contact information, address, and the source name is blurred. And if I go here to lead flow, all of my lead sources are blurred as well. Call recording. So if you enable the call recording feature, whenever you make dials through the dialer, either through your phone or through the computer, you have the ability to record the conversations via an audio file. You may or may not want to turn this on depending on where you're located and what you are allowed to do. Some states require that both parties know that the call is being recorded. So if you do turn on this functionality, then you need to train your agents to say, this is Elena on a recorded line. I'm in the state of Texas and only one party has to be aware that it's being recorded and that party is me. Disable batch email. This is most helpful if you have agents within the account. And the batch email feature would allow agents to basically send a mass email or newsletter to several people at once. You may want to disable this feature in order to ensure that agents don't abuse this feature. So some agents have been known, unfortunately, to abuse this feature and send batch emails to people as like an easy button to say that they followed up with 100 people, when in reality, they just sent a batch email and now a bunch of people unsubscribed. Agent-owned lead duplication. So if you allow leads to be duplicated, this allows different agents to have duplicated leads. So the reason you may want to use this is if an agent generated a lead from online lead source, then a couple of months later, an agent met that lead in an open house, you would allow this to be on so that the agent who met the lead at the open house can have their own record of their own communication. Appointment reminders, I usually keep this one off and use the appointment reminders within my calendar creator itself in Calendly. But if you want to automatically send a text reminder to contacts who've been invited to appointments in Follow Up Boss, you can turn this on. Lead source lockdown. When this is enabled, this means that only the owner, admins, or ISAs are allowed to change the source name. So especially if you struggle with agents changing the source name because they're split changes. So let's say you require a certain percentage if a lead was generated from the company, but then a certain percentage if not. An agent can change the source name and try to work around that to have a different split. So you can lock this feature so that agents don't change the source name. You can enable the enforce Google sign-in where you have to sign in with Google and Follow Up Boss. Allowing agents to create action plans. If you enable this feature, please be very mindful of allowing this feature because agents can quickly, unfortunately, go a little crazy with action plans and maybe edit action plans they should not have, and it can get a little confusing. Call from, this is a beta feature. So if an admin is calling a contact, they can select who they want the caller ID to call from. So you can enable this feature as a beta test. And I'm sure in a couple of months, there will be other power-ups that I didn't show here that are not available yet, but Follow Up Boss is constantly innovating and constantly coming up with new ideas.